The Royal Ontario Museum, otherwise known as the ROM, houses a significant collection of Chinese art, pottery, and other artifacts that span over a millennium. These artifacts consist of murals, sculptures, statues, pottery, tombs, and come in many other forms. These artifacts come in all sorts of shapes and sizes and help one to understand how various communities express their beliefs, identities, memories, and authority through physical forms and during the various dynasties and empires that ruled in China. The artifacts allow one to experience and understand the history of China, not only through written records, but through a visual experience that was cherished and valued by those people. In this video, I will examine and explore four major works from the Royal Ontario Museum's Chinese collection. First, we will take a look at the Homage to the Highest Power, which consists of two large-scale murals that face each other in the Bishop White Gallery of Chinese Art. Next, we will take a look at the Paradise of Maitreya, which is an enormous mural that portrays the Buddhist figure, the Maitreya. It was cut into 63 panels before arriving in Canada. These murals portray themes of religion and spirituality and provide a glimpse into how these ideas played a role throughout Chinese society during history. Then, we will take a look at artifacts that provide insight into the role of authority figures in China with two critical aspects of Chinese society, militarism and governance, by taking a look at the military and civil officials, which are either from the Ming or Qing dynasty period. Finally, we will take a look at the funerary practices and beliefs on the afterlife by examining the tomb of Zhu Deshou, otherwise known as the Ming Tomb. These four artifacts portray different aspects, values, and beliefs that shaped Chinese society throughout history. These artifacts reveal how Chinese societies throughout history used storytelling, ritual art, and funerary practices to reinforce and remember these ideas. The Homage to the Highest Power murals originate from a Taoist temple in Shaanxi Province, China. The murals date back to the 13th century CE and are from the Yuan dynasty. They are made up of clay and plaster and are symmetrically balanced. According to the ROM, quote, these paintings both show a procession of heavenly beings moving at a leisurely pace to pay homage to Yuanshi Tianzun, the celestial worthy of primordial beginning, who was probably represented by a sculpture placed against the north wall of the temple from which the painting came, end quote. In other words, the Yuanshi Tianzun is the supreme being in Taoism. The three most important figures can be found in the middle of the mural, larger than their surrounding beings, with vibrant colored halos around their heads. The mural on the east wall specifically depicts Zhen Wu, the perfected warrior. He is a major Taoist deity most associated with protection. He is seen leading the procession, which is made up of the personification of the 7 stars of the Northern Dipper, otherwise known as the Big Dipper. Much of the mural consists of neutral colors, except for the clothing the figures are wearing, particularly the important deity figures in the center, who are depicted with brighter colors compared to the rest of the mural. The west wall mural is very similar to the mural on the east wall. The figures can be seen graciously walking from the left towards the right, where the Yuanshi Tianzun would have been. The west wall mural specifically represents Haisha, the Black Killer, who is leading the representatives of Jiu Tian, the 9 heavens, which consists of the King Father of the East and the Queen Mother of the West. Both of the murals offer a visual representation of the Taoist universe by depicting key figures paying homage to the highest power. The murals portray the significance of religion and spirituality in China and how that has impacted society throughout the following centuries. These, combined with the possible sculpture of Yuanshi Tianzun, would have transformed the temple into the center of the universe. The space used in the Bishop White Gallery of Chinese Art uses the Paradise of Maitreya as the central piece of the exhibit. The Homage to the Highest Power murals highlight how many Taoist communities used imagery to represent their spirituality and belief systems. Also, in the Bishop White Gallery for Chinese art, we can find the colossal Paradise of Maitreya mural, which can be found in the gallery's northern wall. The space used in this section provides the viewer with a visual representation to understand what some of these Taoist murals would have looked like in their original temples. The mural is dated to 1298 CE and is about 502 centimeters wide and can reach up to 1,101 centimeters high at its tallest points. Right here, you can see just how tall the mural is in comparison to me. When transporting this mural to Canada, it was cut into 63 sections and then restored in Toronto. You can still see some of the sections where the mural was cut. Similarly to the previous murals, the Paradise of Maitreya was painted during the Yuan dynasty. They were created by the famed painter Zhu Haogu. The mural primarily depicts the Maitreya, a central figure in Buddhism, who is meant to be the Buddha of the future. The Maitreya sits confidently in the middle of the mural, his left hand in a commanding position and his right hand palm open on his lap, representing his openness and selflessness. According to the ROM, this work displays a scene with a royal king and queen preparing to convert to Buddhism. They are shaved in preparation for the ceremony, and they are placed right beside the Maitreya in a smaller form. Surrounding the Maitreya is a group of deities with white halos around their heads. They are larger than the surrounding royal servants and officials which can be found on either side of the mural. The work uses a variety of vibrant colors such as green, red, yellow, and white, which helps symbolize the wealth, power, and authority of the royal court found in the mural. This mural allows the viewer to understand how pivotal of a role spirituality played not just in everyday life, but in the royal courts as well. The Paradise of Maitreya mural provides insight into how Chinese communities and cultures used art to convey powerful ideas of spirituality, religion, divine order, as well as authority and wealth of the royal courts. The mural also portrays what the afterlife would look like, displaying an emphasis on death and the afterlife in Chinese society and culture. There are two large-scale funerary figures found in the George Crofts collection at the ROM. They are either from the Ming or Qing dynasty and were found in the Yongtai village near Beijing, China. Their exact age is not known, but they are thought to be from before 1656 CE. The one on the left is the military official, and the one on the right is a civil official. They are examples of spirit way sculpture. They would have occupied space in the Shen Dao, the pathway to the Chinese tomb. These sculptures were meant to serve and protect the spirits of the deceased in the tomb, hence their position at the front of the tomb. The practice of placing spirit way sculptures in the front of tombs comes from the ancient Han Dynasty and goes back almost 2,000 years. The practice was still very old during the creation of these sculptures and has spread to parts of Korea and Vietnam. The ROM unfortunately does not have the original tomb of which these sculptures came from, but they were still placed as best as they could towards the front of the tomb of Zhu Deshao to display what they would have looked like in their original space. The figures are about 3 meters in height and weigh over 4 tons. The figure of the military official is covered with rough body armor, especially parts of the armor that cover vital organs, and the armor is covered in round and pointed shapes. His eyes are large and open widely, and his face has a serious expression. His stance is firm and sturdy, and his hand placed on his weapon, a flail. He is standing at attention, as if he is always on guard duty. The large size and firm stance of the sculpture conveys a message of military strength and an ability to defend his people, not just in the mortal world, but in the afterlife as well. The figure of the civil official is dressed in an elegant manner. He is covered in elaborate robes and is standing in a calm and respectful stance. He is holding a writing tablet with care, and the figure looks like he is standing in court. The placement of both a military official and a civil official in the spirit way before a tomb signifies the important aspects of Chinese culture and society, militarism and governance. This again emphasizes the importance of the afterlife in Chinese culture historically. But it also represents how deep these belief systems went by preparing sculptures to guard the tomb. It is as if the person in the tomb will need protection and advice in the afterlife. This is the reconstructed tomb of Zhu Deshou, who was an important general during the Ming Dynasty. He is most notably remembered for his defense of northeastern China during the fall of the Ming. This tomb is also from the Yongtai village near Beijing, China, but comes from a different archaeological site in the region than the sculptures discussed previously. The tomb is a part of the George Crofts collection at the ROM and is a partial reconstruction of what the tomb would have looked like in its original environment. The tomb chamber also housed the other tombs which were thought to have been for the sons of Zhu Deshou. The large gate seen at the front has a jade roof, which is a sign of good luck in Chinese culture. The exhibit's gate is made up of stone and is covered with various symbols that represent longevity. Other prominent figures from Chinese culture can be viewed on the walls, such as deers and auspicious monkeys. The exhibit also includes a picture of what the tomb would have looked like in China. Behind the entrance gate are the stone panels, which were a part of the original wall, which partially covered the tomb at the back. More mythical animals are depicted on the wall panels, which guarded the tomb of his sons. Just behind the entrance gate is an altar. On the altar, there is an altar censer, which would have been used to conduct religious ceremonies. Surrounding the censer are various patterns and flower vases carved into the stone. The Chinese character found on the censer of the altar, Shu, means longevity. The tomb mound can be found towards the back of the exhibit, as it is the centerpiece of the whole environment. The mound is surrounded by figures, which are carved into the stone. They are meant to symbolize eternal life. Across the various panels and sections of the tomb, there are different animals, such as monkeys, deer, and cranes. In Chinese culture, the deer and crane represent longevity and prosperity, whilst the monkeys are seen as symbols of protection and success. The overall tomb represents important ideas found in both Taoism and Confucianism. They represent their beliefs of harmony with nature and an ordered society respectively. These two belief systems have heavily shaped the history of China. The tomb not only expresses beliefs of identity, honor, and status, but provides insight into the importance of the afterlife throughout Chinese history. The various symbols represent good luck for the afterlife, and the overall exhibit conveys an idea of immortality. Despite Zhu Deshou's death long ago, his memory and legacy live on through the tomb, which highlights the importance of these aspects in Chinese culture throughout history. These 4 artifacts examined in the video all provided insight into the values of Chinese societies and cultures throughout history. The homage to the highest power murals signify importance towards religion and spirituality. The Yuan dynasty must have valued these concepts due to the elaborate designs and incorporation of key spiritual figures in Chinese culture, including the 7 personifications of the Big Dipper. Since the Maitreya is a significant figure in Buddhism, the addition of its mural between the homage to the highest power connects to the 2 belief systems key in Chinese history, which signify the importance of divine authority. The military and civil officials provide insight into how important the afterlife was in Chinese culture. The 2 different officials both represent key concepts throughout Chinese civilization and highlight the importance for both physical and military strength, as well as mental strength and knowledge. The fact that the spirit way sculptures are placed in front of the tomb suggests that they were thought to be needed in the afterlife. The tomb of Zhu Deshou represents legacy, honor, and identity. The figures carved into the different parts of the exhibit are meant to provide good fortune for the deceased. The incorporation of auspicious monkeys and symbols of good luck, such as the jade roof, provide insight into the thoughtful planning of the afterlife whilst alive. These 4 artifacts help one to understand 4 critical aspects of Chinese culture throughout history. The importance of divine authority and cosmic order, the importance of the afterlife and future rebirth, the importance of both civil virtues and martial authorities, critical throughout Chinese history, and the importance of honoring ancestors and preserving one's legacy long after they pass.